It began on a sweltering summer night in 1984. The City of Angels lay asleep under a blanket of heat and silence. In a modest house on East Whittier, a woman stirred at the sound of creaking floorboards. The air was heavy with dread she couldn't explain. She wasn't wrong. A figure moved through the open window, tall, gaunt, dressed in black. His eyes gleamed with something darker than hatred, an emptiness that devoured light itself. The next morning, police tape lined the street. The newspapers would call it another random killing. But Detective Frank Salazar knew better. Something about the pattern, the unlocked windows, the missing valuables, the cruelty, whispered of a predator. Weeks passed. Then more bodies, more horror. Elderly couples, young women, children. The killer moved like smoke, in and out before dawn, leaving behind chaos and fear. The press named him the Night Stalker. LA turned paranoid. People nailed their windows shut. Hardware stores sold out of locks. Priests anointed doorways with oil. Still, the murders didn't stop. Detective Salazar stared at the photos pinned to his board. Faces of victims connected by nothing but terror. "He's not just killing," he murmured to his partner. "He's sending a message." Richard Ramirez was no ghost, just a drifter who carried evil like a second skin. He slept by day, hunted by night, and read satanic verses between both. He saw himself as chosen amongst them, a vessel of darkness. On one night, he slipped into a family home in Monterey Park. A husband, a wife, their daughter asleep. He left the husband lifeless, whispered chilling words to the terrified woman, and carved a pentagram on the wall. Before leaving, he said softly, "Tell them the Night Stalker was here." The words echoed through every TV in California by morning. Months later, a breakthrough. A shoe print, Avia sneakers, size 11.5 ounces, found near several scenes. Rare. Detectives traced every purchase in the state. The walls of the task force office were lined with photos, maps, and timelines. One officer spotted a fingerprint on a stolen car. It matched a name in the system. Richard Ramirez, a petty thief, drug user, drifter. But his eyes in the mugshot froze them all. Soulless. Detective Salazar clenched his jaw. "We've got our Night Stalker." When Ramirez realized his face was on every TV screen in Los Angeles, he panicked. He fled, boarding a bus to Arizona, but fate pulled him back. Every road blocked, every eye watching. Returning to East LA, he walked into a store and the people recognized him. "That's him, the Night Stalker," someone shouted. He ran, sprinting through the streets, hunted not by police, but by the citizens he had terrorized. A mob cornered him. He looked up at the sky, face bleeding, eyes wild, and screamed, "You don't understand. I am beyond death." The crowd beat him until sirens cut through the chaos. The monster was captured, not by the law, but by the people he had once haunted. In the courtroom, Ramirez smirked. He flashed a pentagram on his hand and shouted, "Hail Satan!" The victims' families wept, their grief cutting through his arrogance. But as witnesses spoke, describing nights of horror, something cracked in the air. The jurors looked at him not with fear, but pity. He wasn't powerful. He was broken. A shell of the boy who grew up in violence, who saw death too young, who let darkness become his master. When the verdict came, guilty on all counts, Ramirez only grinned. "Death always comes," he whispered. Years later, the story of the Night Stalker still lingers. The houses have been repainted, the blood washed away, but fear doesn't fade easily. Detective Salazar, now retired, often drives past those streets. The lights, the laughter, the children playing, all signs that evil can be beaten but never forgotten. He whispers to himself, "We caught the man, but not the darkness." The camera pans out. City lights shimmer like embers in the night. Evil walked through the night, but so did courage. The Night Stalker, Richard Ramirez's reign of terror. Like, share, and subscribe for more true crime stories that reveal the darkness behind the headlines.